Good morning. I'm delighted to speak with you today to launch Organ Donor Awareness Week 2022. It's really important that we take this opportunity every year to raise awareness of the life-saving role of organ donation, also to raise awareness of the improvements in the quality of life it brings to recipients and to their families. Last year was a really challenging year for the medical community, but thanks to their tireless efforts and those of all the organ donation and transplantation support groups, a total of 206 transplants were carried out. 139 kidney transplants were performed at the National Renal Transplant Service in Beaumont Hospital. This includes 102 deceased donor kidney transplants and 35 living kidney donor transplants. 35 liver transplants and 2 pancreas transplants were performed at the National Liver Transplant Service in St. Vincent's Hospital, and 20 lung transplants and 10 heart transplants were performed at the National Heart and Lung Transplant Service at the Mater Hospital. All of this really is an extraordinary achievement, particularly in the face of such exceptionally challenging circumstances. It would not have been possible without the commitment and skill of the intensive care staff, procurement staff, surgical teams, medical and nursing staff. Through their resolve and dedication, the transplant service was maintained throughout the pandemic. I've been really encouraged to hear that the number of transplants performed in the first 3 months of this year exceeded the number performed in the same period in 2019. Hopefully this is a sign of recovery from the hardships of the pandemic and a great accomplishment by those in the service. I want to acknowledge the tireless efforts of the staff in Organ Donation and Transplant Ireland and the teams in our 3 transplant centres. Their continued dedication and professionalism are essential to providing this vital service. Organ donation nurse managers perform the essential work of promoting the benefits that organ donation brings to recipients and building enthusiasm among hospital teams for organ donation. I'd like to thank them all for their determination in performing this really critical role. I'd also like to commend the efforts of staff working in the intensive care units right across the country. I'd like to commend them for their incredible work, their compassion when meeting with families and initiating the donation process. Of course, none of this work would be possible without the generosity of donors, without the generosity of their families, who selflessly agree to make this life-saving gift to other people. The support of the families for the donation process is truly an act of generosity, an act of altruism made during a tragic time, a time of great sadness and difficulty for them. It's my hope that they can take some solace in the relief, in the joy that is brought to the recipients and to their families. To all of you, I'd like to extend my sincere thanks. I understand that Chloe and Nicole will be sharing their story of organ donation with you today. Thank you for your generosity in sharing the gift of life with others at a time of immense sadness for you and for your family. As Minister for Health, I'm committed to further developing our organ donation and transplantation system and building on the progress that has been achieved so far. It's my objective to ensure that Ireland ranks amongst the most successful countries in the world in terms of the percentage of the population who donate their organs, the number of recipients who benefit from these donations, and the improvements in the quality of life for organ recipients. My department continues to work closely with the transplant hospitals, the intensive care staff, and the Organ Donation and Transplant Ireland to build upon the achievements of recent years. Incremental improvements to our organ procurement service will continue to be achieved through improved infrastructure in ICUs, developing our ability to receive donations from abroad, implementing a more robust organ retrieval service, and through transplant centres, maximising the conversion rates from donor opportunities that are presented. I welcome the recent publication of the Potential Donor Audit Feasibility Study report by the National Office of Clinical Audit. It's a positive step towards the establishment of a potential donor audit to ensure that no opportunities for donor conversion are missed and that more organs are available for patients in need. Additional funding of over €1 million has been allocated to transplant services this year to further develop the infrastructure and the equipment needed to meet expected demands, following the introduction of an opt-out system of organ donation as part of the Human Tissue Bill. Increasing the number of organ donations is essential, and the enactment of the bill has been a priority for me and for government. The legislation will be accompanied by a publicity campaign aiming to raise awareness of organ donation. Organ donor awareness campaigns such as this will help promote the act of organ donation as a social and a cultural norm for all of us in Ireland. Organ donation is one of the most selfless gifts we can give to somebody else. I would ask that during Organ Donation Awareness Week, everyone would not only consider becoming an organ donor themselves, but importantly share this intention with their loved ones. Having this conversation with your loved ones can inform their decision making and increase the possibility that on your death, your organs may be used to give someone else the opportunity of life. This will give your loved ones the comfort of knowing your wishes were carried through. In conclusion, I would like to say that I'm going to continue to work on developing our organ donation and transplantation system. I'm going to work on that to maximise transplantation rates for the benefit of patients and their families. The importance of Organ Donor Awareness Week cannot be overstated. I want to thank everyone involved for their efforts in making this week possible, and I wish it and you every success. Thank you.